Hi everyone, welcome back to microeconomics class. In this class, I'll be talking about equilibrium of a perfectly competitive firm, and we are going to solve a question. So here is the question. The question goes thus. The table below shows the revenues, cost, and output of a firm in a perfect market. Study the table and answer the questions that follow it. Here is the table. In the first column here, we have the unit of output produced, we have total cost, we have total revenue, we have marginal cost, that is MC, we have marginal revenue, then lastly we have profit here. And here are the questions. The first question says determine the equilibrium price and quantity. Second question says calculate the firm's profit at the equilibrium level. Yes. Now let's go. Solution. This question is very simple. Just have to pay attention. The first question says determine the equilibrium price and quantity. So whenever you see a question like this, so your first target should be equilibrium quantity rather than equilibrium price. So when you are able to determine the equilibrium quantity, also known as equilibrium output, so you'll be able to determine your corresponding price, which is going to be your equilibrium price. In other words, here you are for A, you are going to use the condition of equilibrium, that's equilibrium condition. You recall that in the equilibrium, you recall that MC is equal to M hat in the equilibrium. Equilibrium. That is, this is the equilibrium condition. MC equals M hat. So you go to your table and you check where you have MC and M hat equal. So check M hat right throughout. MC, we have MC. Here we have at output level 10. From here we have MC equals M hat. Here you can see at this level we have MC equals 5. Also, you can see that at this level we have MC equals 5 and also MR equals 5. So that means our equilibrium output or quantity, if you like, is equal to the corresponding unit of output here, equals to 10 units. 10 units. Now, if you look at this table, we are not given the price directly. We are only asked to determine the price. We are asked to determine the equilibrium price. So how do we determine the equilibrium price? There are two ways. We are told that this firm is in a perfect market. And we know that for a firm in a perfect market, so its marginal revenue is always equals to the price, the equilibrium price. In other words, if you check here, you have price, you have the marginal revenue here, 5 throughout. So I can say the price, that is the equilibrium price is equals to 5. Yes. Another way of determining the equilibrium price here in this situation whereby you are not given a price directly is to recall that the price is always equal to average revenue. So I can derive my average revenue from total revenue. In other words, my average revenue equals total revenue divided by Q, where Q is the unit of output. If we check, if I start determining my average revenue at each level of output, here, for example, A out 2, that is when output is 2, my average revenue will be 10 divided by 2. That is the total revenue divided by Q. 10 divided by 2. So that will be 5. If I also do for the second level output, which is AR4, its total revenue is 20, then divided by the corresponding Q, which is 4. So I'm going to get 5. Okay. Throughout, I'm going to get 5. Okay. So in other words, I can say since my P equals AR, so P equals AR, which is equals to 5. That will be my equilibrium price. Okay, that will be my equilibrium price. So the next question says calculate the profit at the equilibrium level of output. You can see that the profits at various levels have been calculated. So what we need is just to check the corresponding profit at this equilibrium row. This is the equilibrium row because this is where we have MR equals MC. So and the corresponding profit is equals to 2. In other words, the profit in the equilibrium is equals to 2. Is equals to 2. So don't forget to follow the page, like the video, and comment and also share so that it can benefit others. Thank you. See you in the next video.